Hello everyone. Sorry I still have a raspy voice. It takes me forever to get my voice back, and I don't want to wait forever to make more videos, so hopefully you'll bear with me. I had a request for a video on how to make dimensional flowers, and so that's what I'm going to show you today. I also have a few little leaves here, and I have a couple of different techniques and different ways you can find flowers to make dimensional. So let's just get started. First of all, this flower right here, all these petals were in a container that I bought, and I made them dimensional and I glued them together and came out with this flower. So these were pre-made flowers that I bought. These two little ones are a scrunching technique, and I will show you how to do that. This is a vellum flower. As you can see, when vellum gets wet, it crinkles up, but you can flatten it out on your project. So you can use vellum to make three-dimensional flowers. And actually, it's embossed, so it came out very pretty, stamped and embossed. Here is a card I made with the dimensional flower on it and the leaves, and another card. This is a different kind of flower that it's a layered flower that I stamped, and I just gave it a little bit of dimension. So there's all kinds of ways you can do, and I'm going to show you how to make most of these. So let's set these aside. So first of all, the first one I'm going to show you is I have these cut out right here, and what I did is it's this set from Heartfelt Creations, Tattered Blossoms. You can buy the die cuts and you can buy the stamp set. They come separately. So I stamped them, and then I ran them through my die cut machine, and I came out with these petals. So what we're going to do is turn these petals over so that my inked side is down, and we're going to squirt them with just a little bit of water. And I stamped them in the Altenew Crispy Dyke Ruby Red ink, just in case you wanted to know. And I have this kit from Heartfelt Creations. It's called the Deluxe Flower Shaping Kit. It comes with a mat and all your tools. So all these pink tools in here is what it came with, and then there's all these different sizes, but you don't need this kit. I have these three, which are from McGrill, and I think I just found them at my local craft store, and you just bought these three, and that's much cheaper than this kit. And I have these that I use for my clay, my polymer clay, when I'm crafting with that. And so these just came in a little kit too. There was 3 of them. And I'm probably going to use these ones today just to save time, because with this one you have to take your blades out and change them out, and so just to save time I'm going to use this set right here. And I like a bigger surface than this, and so I found this mouse pad at a paper store, like Office Depot is probably where I found mine, but Staples, Office Max, whatever, Walmart even might have them. It's just a nice big mouse pad, and that's what I like to use. So we sprayed our flowers already. Now we're going to take our tool, and I'm going to use this kind of a medium sized, and you just go around your petals. Now you can rub around or you can pounce around. I like to pounce, but I see a lot of people that do rubbing. So you just go around your petals, and you can see they're curling up, and you're thinking, well, I don't want them to curl up backwards. But then you turn it over when you've got it to where you want, and you just kind of press on the center. And there you have a nice formed petal. So we're going to do that on all of them. You just do the same technique with all your petals. Just press down on the edges, kind of go down the center. And I'm going to show you how to do different petals. So I have a few different ones here. Okay, so we'll just kind of do this one really quick. And see, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. And you've got a nice three-dimensional flower here. And that's all you really need to do. Now you take some liquid glue and put a little bit in the center. Oh, let's start here. This is the biggest one. Just put a little bit in the center. Place that in there. And I like to offset my petals. So, you know, I have the big petal here, and then this is kind of where the gap is. And then do the next, oops, that one kind of got moved off center, so put it back in the center. Do the next one. Just offset it. Do the next one. Offset it. And then take your tool again and press down in the center and just kind of press, and it will give you that shape again. And there you have this petal. Then for your centerpiece, I don't have any right here, but you can use little beads, little buttons. Like this one, I just made a few more petals, and I'll always show you how I made this in just a second. But I just used that for my center. So we have that one done. Let's do one of these flat ones here. So these were just die cutted. I didn't stamp them at first. So what I would do with this is I would take some ink and just sponge around the edges to give it a little bit of color. You can do whatever kind of color you want. If you want to put different colors on there, do a little bit of brown around the edges to kind of antique it a little bit. You know, just play with it. That's all you're really doing, excuse me, is playing with these flowers. Now again, turn them over on the back side. Squirt a little bit of water. You don't want too much, just a tiny little bit. And take your tool again. I'm going to use this bigger one for this one. And see where I'm just rubbing it around on the edges again. Just keep going around the edges till it curls up nicely where you want. Flip it over and then do your center kind of. And that's how I did this card right here. So we'll do this one real quick. And on this card, I didn't layer it. It's only one layer. But if you wanted to, you could layer this one too. So I would just kind of off center a little bit, glue it, or I would just leave it one layer like on this card. But if you wanted to make it more dimensional, just kind of layer it on there and press down the center again. But also what you can do is take a pencil or something. I have a little stick thing here. In fact, it's a little thinner than the pencil. And then you just take your petals. You can roll them backwards like that. Roll them under. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just rolling them under. Or you can roll them forward. So let's roll the back ones under. And if you're going to roll them forward, you probably want to put some color on the back side. But, and this is not dry yet, so it came apart, of course, but you would roll this. You can roll it anytime you want to. And then you have that again, and just, just kind of work with it. Press, I'm just pinching it up with my fingers a little bit. And then I would probably put a big button or something in the center to finish it off like that. So that's technique number 2. Now, if you don't have die cuts, you can use hole punches. And if you just have stamps without the die cut, you can stamp it and you can cut it out. So, there's always all kinds of ways to get your flowers. So I would probably take some pattern paper and punch out a bunch of pieces from pattern paper. And this isn't working very well. Try this one. There. So I would take a bunch of these, cut them out of pattern paper, layer them all together, and then, in fact, I need to cut out a few so I can show you how I made this one. So let's cut out about 3 of them here. Okay. And I'm going to glue these together and let them sit for a second to dry before I show you, because it won't work while they're still wet. So we're going to set those aside for just a second. Now I'll show you the next. So on my leaves, I did the same thing. I stamped my leaf. Then I die cut it out. I turned it over and sprayed it. And then I took a smaller tool, probably this one. I rubbed through each leaf and around the edges, down the stem. Then when I flipped it over, I went down the middle to give it that vein right there on each petal. And then I just I didn't flatten it all the way down the stem, just in different areas. And that's how I made my leaf. So we have our leaf and our flower that is dimensional. And one other thing I like to do is to take some brown ink and just run it along my edges and give it a little bit of antiquing or distressing, whatever you want to call it. So I like to add just a little bit of that to my flowers too. And like I showed you with the pencil, so you've got this that we, oops, wrong lid, sorry there. We've got this one that we did, but we can also take our pencil or whatever, and we could fold up some of these leaves too. So it's just how much, excuse me, it's just how much dimension you want in your flower. Just kind of fold them under or up, whichever you prefer. And then you have a little more. And once this dries from the water and the glue, it is very solid and it's not going to lose its shape. It will hold its shape very well, like these are. So the way I got this edges on here was I took and I pinched my edges. I used my fingernails and just kind of pinched the edges. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just pinching. I'm using my fingernail and I'm pinching it together. See if I can maybe get up here a little bit so you can see better. There. Oh, hopefully you can see that. But then you get that nice little pinched edge. Okay. I'm not sure if this is dry yet, or from the glue, but you want to spray it also. And kind of a little bit more than we did on the other ones. But then what I do with this is I just scrunch it all up into a little ball. Just scrunch it, scrunch, scrunch. And then I very carefully take it apart and kind of just shape it like I did with these to however crunched up I want it to be. Now this is kind of small. Maybe I'll see if I can do a bigger one for you. But, and then sometimes your petals break off. That's fine. You're not really going to see that petal broke off there. Okay, let's see if we can do one more that's a little bit larger. Let's see if I can punch this one out on a more solid surface. Turn it over. That's not the best punch. Let me see if I can grab one really quick here. Well, I don't have one, it looks like, so. Yeah, I don't know where my other ones are. I have some others that are bigger. But anyway, grab some type paper because it's thinner and it should cut through. So let's grab, sorry about that. I should have tried it out before I did this. I think it's just this punch. That one side doesn't want to cut. So, yeah, now it's not going to come out. All right, I might have to give up on that one. Okay. Well, I can show you, but it's... So I would layer 3 of these together again, probably, then I would just scrunch them all up and come out with kind of the same thing. And it's still kind of small, but hopefully that helps you see what I'm trying to do. Just like that. And you have these cute little scrunched up flowers. And there again, I would take this flower and I would sponge around it and give it a little bit more color if I wanted to. It would just depend on what my project is. So that's what I wanted to show you today. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully that gave you some ideas for your projects. Excuse me. Please like and subscribe to my videos and share them with your friends. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.